You've got your Thors, you've got your Ra, your Osiris, and then of course you've got Zeus, you've got all your Greek gods. This is because this is what the nations were consigned to when God handed them over. Yeah, really, really good question on the divine council, and it's essential to understand. There's a lot to this, guys. I'm going to summarize. At Babel, God disinherited the nations because the nations decided they didn't want to follow God's plan, and instead they wanted to follow their own plan. So if you're looking at things from a salvation historical perspective, God's purpose and plan has always been to unite the spiritual and the physical realm into one, God honoring God's people community. And so you have spiritual beings that he created to do their things in the spiritual realm, and you have physical beings, us, who were created to do physical things in the physical realm. And we were supposed to work together. He was supposed to unite these things, and we were supposed to work together. But of course, some of the angels fell with Lucifer and became demons and led mankind down a different path to not follow God in that way. Well, one of those demonic plans was the Tower of Babel, to set yourself up, set the nations themselves up. That was one of the demonic plans. And at the Tower of Babel, God essentially wiped his hands clean and said, okay, guys, you think you can do it better than me? You think you're not going to follow my plan and you're going to follow your own plan? Fine, go for it. Go ahead and try. That's what God did at Babel. And that's what it's talking about in Deuteronomy 32. Is he not your father, your creator, who made and formed you? Remember the days of old, consider the generations long past. Ask your father, he will tell you, your elders, and they will explain to you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind. This is a reference to Babel. He's dividing all mankind. He's splitting them all up. He set boundaries for peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. Now this, sons of Israel, is a textual variant. It's not correct. It's supposed to read sons of God. Let me show you. And any of your good study Bibles will note that this is a textual variant. Okay. Do ye thus recompense the Lord? Is the people thus foolish and unwise? Did not he himself, thy father, purchase thee and make thee and form thee? Remember the days of old, consider the years for past ages. Ask thy father, and he shall relate to thee, thine elders, and they shall tell thee. When the Most High divided the nations, when he separated the sons of Adam, again, we're in the same verse, reference to Babel, he set the bounds of the nations according to the number of the angels of God. And in Hebrew, it actually reads sons of God. Now, those of you who know your biblical theology well know that sons of God often refers to angels. Let's just go to Job chapter 1. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, where have you been? Satan answered, from roaming to and fro on the earth, going back and forth on it. Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And it goes on. The Bible in the book of Job often refers to these angelic beings as the sons of God. And that is what is referred to here. The Septuagint just says he set the bounds of nations according to the angels of God, but other translation read sons of God. Now, why is all of this important? This is what's going on at Babel. At Babel, God is disinheriting the nations. At Babel, God is saying, all right, you don't want to follow me anymore. You don't want to do things my way. In fact, you want to follow these demons and do things their way. So I'm going to scatter you abroad, disinherit you, and I'm going to set up the angels of God over you. And these are actually the fallen angels of God, the demons, if you will. He's essentially telling Satan and his demons, you guys have it your way. Go ahead and try. See how it works out. And then God takes from all of these angels, he takes one man, Abraham, and pulls him out, isolates him from the Ur of the Chaldeans, right? That is Abraham's background. God essentially says this, all right, Satan, you're going to keep tricking my people. You're going to keep confusing them and getting them to go the wrong path. Fine, they're all yours. Take them all because they don't want to follow me. They want to listen to you and your demons. Fine. But I'm going to start with 0, and then I'm going to grab Abraham. And I'll have 1. And I'm going to steal Abraham from you. He's part of your nations. I'm going to steal Abraham from you. And from Abraham, I am going to show you that you get all the people on the face of the earth, and I just get one man, Abraham. And through Abraham, I will reclaim all of these people back to myself. And that is the biblical history. That's why Israel exists, so that they can produce the Messiah. Then the Messiah dies for the sins of the whole world. And then Jesus recaptures the nations back from Satan in the New Testament. The divine council is that council of spiritual beings that God interacts with in order to make decisions about what's going to happen on earth. He actually utilizes a council in order to do that. There's another passage that in which you can see, let's look it up. I think it's the deceiving spirit. There's another passage in which you can see the divine council. Here it is. Listen to this. This is the divine council at work, guys. It may sound weird, right? What I've been describing may sound weird, but this is how God has worked. He's always worked this way. He doesn't need to work this way. He just chooses to work this way. This is a picture, an image of the divine council in 1 Kings 22, starting in verse 19. Micah continued, "Therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the multitudes of heaven standing around him on his right and on his left." So God is in the middle of heaven. Everybody is standing around him on right and left. And they're the multitudes of heaven. These are spiritual beings. These are angels. And the Lord said, "Who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth Gilead and go to his death there?" God is conducting this divine council. And he's saying, look, guys, we need Ahab to attack Ramoth Gilead and go to his death. Okay, that's what we need him to do. One suggested this, another that. So the angels are coming up with ideas. Hey, God, what if we try this? Hey, God, what if we try that? And they're all throwing out ideas. Finally, a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord, and said, "I will entice him." "By what means?" the Lord asked. "I will go out and be a deceiving spirit in the mouths of all his prophets," he said. "You will succeed in enticing him," said the Lord. "Go and do it." So now the Lord has put a deceiving spirit in the mouths of all those prophets of yours. The Lord has decreed disaster for you. This is the divine council at work. God meets with his angels, and they discuss what they're going to do to accomplish his good will and his good pleasure, to accomplish his purpose. He doesn't need to use them. He is sovereign over all things. He could snap his fingers and do whatever he wants, but he chooses to use them just as he chooses to use us. He has this in the spiritual realm, the heavenly realm. He uses his angels to accomplish certain things. And here in the physical realm, here on earth, he uses Christians to accomplish certain things. We are his people. And so he asks us to work alongside him. 2 Corinthians 5. All this is from God, who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave to us the ministry of reconciliation. God gave to us the ministry of reconciliation. He is allowing us to utilize our skills and abilities to go out and promote truth and to reconcile people to himself. Verse 19, that God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting people's sins against them, and he has committed to us the message of reconciliation. He gave us that job. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making an appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. So that's our job. That's what he has told us to do. He works in the heavenly realm in the same way. He utilizes the spiritual beings. They talk about it. What are we going to do? This is what we're going to do. They make suggestions, and then God says, go for it, right? He works with them, even though he doesn't need them, just as though he doesn't need us, okay? So long story short, that's the divine council, and God disinherits the nations at Babel, and Satan goes and does his own thing. This is going to sound weird, guys, but why? Think back on Gentile roots. What are Gentile roots? The pantheon of gods. Almost every culture had one, or had a pantheon of gods. You have Egyptian culture, had a pantheon of gods. Roman culture, Greek culture, Norse culture. You've got your Thors, you've got your Ra, your Osiris, and then of course you've got Zeus, you've got all your Greek gods. This is because this is what the nations were consigned to when God handed them over. When the Most High divided the nations, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the nations according to the number of the angels of God. These are the demons. And God said, fine, do it your way. And all of the demons set themselves up as gods over the Gentiles. And then God selects one man, Abraham, and from Abraham, he produces the Messiah who dies for the sins of the world, and then Gentiles are redeemed from their worship of demons, the pantheon of gods, and then they are free to worship the one true God of the universe through their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And Jesus, since the resurrection, has been reclaiming Gentile souls for himself. And now we number in the millions upon millions of Gentiles who used to worship demons, gods of old pantheons. We now worship the one true God of the universe through Jesus Christ. That If you get this, and if you can stomach it, this unites so much of what God's doing between the Old Testament and the New Testament. This unites all of it under one big umbrella. It says sons of God are the ones that are responsible for the Nephilim. I agree with that. It's the same group of people that we're talking about. And think about it. What did I say at the beginning? God's plan was to unite the spiritual and physical realm to serve him. That was our purpose and our goal. That's what he was doing. And look what the sons of God did. Look what their plan was. They said, we're going to unite the physical and spiritual realm because that's God's plan. We're going to do it ourselves. We have a great idea. We'll produce the Nephilim. And they tried to unite the physical and spiritual realm in a way that God had not planned. They thought they could do it themselves. They thought they could do it better. And it turned out into a disaster. Hey guys, Pastor Channer here. Thanks for swinging by. Hope you liked that video, and if you did, would you mind hitting the like and subscribe buttons down below? More than that, if you head down to the description, you can see links to both our Twitch and our Discord. We would love to interact with you more live, so if you'd like to catch us there, that would be great. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Take care. God bless. Bye now.